it's one of those trees. This is where his body is said to be. It seems as though police are trying to remove the body from that particular.
Ngicathi izolo bengibuya eThekwini. Bengibuya eThekwini ngathola i-call. Cathi bengisake eMandawe. Ngathola i-call kwathiwa uNtobe kwathiwa kufone uSbu. Kwathi uSbu sembulela uNtobe usebhinifa. Hayi ngangayikholelwa nje lonto futhi ngangayitshela ukuthi iqiniso lelo. Ngangayinaka futhi loyo nto. Hayi ngathi mase ngifona. Ngathi mase ngibafonela kwawukuthi asalibambi yonke ngifone bhekonelwa kwagcina confirm ukuthi hayi ke ufonele khona emalangeni wa confirm ukuthi hayi umbulele ngempela uSbu.
Kwaze kwakhoza ukuthi angithathe athi asihambe. Ngathi nje besazi ukuthi intombazane wahlukana nayo ngoba bahlukana phambi kwethu njengabazali ngoba phela akahle kahle akuyona intombazane unkosikazi loya ulotsholiwe wayolotshelwa yimina izandla zami kakhulu kwasala umshado. So mase kuba nezingxabano kwaze kwakhoza ukuthi angithathe athi asihambe siyovela khona noma wakhe kukhulunywe umakoti kwaseyamala phambi kwethu.
Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel. Do make sure that you are subscribed. So listen, you guys, this is not a kind of story that I'll run to the camera to do whenever a story like this comes up, because it's a difficult one to do. It's a sensitive story. There are families involved, kids involved, friends involved, and families have lost people in the story. I don't like doing these stories, okay? There are still important stories to do because of what we are dealing with in South Africa. We have a high rate of women being aimed by their partners when relationships don't work out for some reason. But I will say that it doesn't only happen to women, it happens to men as well. It just happens a lot more with women. So it is an important story to talk about. But I don't like doing these videos because people can misread, mishear what you are saying, and they'll be attacking you in the comment section like you, the one that actually aimed somebody. So sometimes, you know, ideally I would like to avoid these stories, but it's just unrealistic for us to not do this story on this channel. But that is not the reason I'm doing it late. Doing it late because I did have a migraine earlier on. So listen, you guys, yesterday a video started trending of a guy called Sbusiso Lawrence, which is his Facebook name, and he had posted a video of himself explaining how he had killed his girlfriend. Not only did he post that video explaining what he had done, but he also posted her body, okay? Some mother saw their child on Facebook dead, okay? And for some reason, it's becoming a common thing now when people they want to show off on social media. I don't get it, but it happens, you guys. So a lot has happened since he posted that video. Of course, after he posted that video, the news were going around that he had been arrested, and then other people were saying no, the family cannot find him. And then later on, as you saw on the clip, they did report that the body was found, meaning that, you know, I guess he was brave enough to actually take this girl's life, but he wasn't brave enough to actually do the time for taking her life. I do feel like, you guys, that in South Africa, our justice system, honestly, since we don't have a death sentence, you might as well implement it on yourself, because the state is not going to do it. The state is going to give you 25 to life. And people have said nobody ever really spends the 25 years in prison. So the family, yes, was going to see him go through the trial. He was probably going to take a stand and be able to tell what happened. But the sad thing about this story was that the woman was never going to come and be able to tell us her side of the story. So as much as they were going to get justice, because of course he had posted the whole thing on social media and admitted that he did it, but at most, you guys, he was going to be in prison for 15 years. Okay, what is that to the family that lost their loved one? Okay, what is that to the kids that lost their mother? Okay, so I kind of feel like, of course, it is coward of him to take his life, but at the same time, it's like that is the ultimate punishment you can get for taking somebody's life just because a relationship wasn't working out. The disturbing part about this story, you guys, it is the fact that when you go into the comment section, of people that are talking about this story, you find a lot of women, and you find a lot of women that are talking about how decent this guy looks. Okay, this guy is very decent. He looks like he really loved his life. There really must have been a reason why, he did what he did, and women need to stop with ubufebe. That's what people are saying, okay? They're basically saying if us women will stop being unfaithful, this whole thing of men killing women will be over. Men wouldn't kill us if it wasn't for us, trying to move on to other relationship. It's all our fault, okay? That is a very disturbing part for me to watch and read in the comment section, that people think there is a reason that is good enough for somebody to take somebody's life. That is the problem that we have, is that people think that there are instances where they can take a woman's life and then they can come back here and tell us a story, and because of what she had done, even if we have weaknesses, every day, nobody has a right to take another person's life, okay? Because everybody has a choice to move on from a relationship. Things happen in relationships that are unfair. Everybody gets hurt in relationships, and sometimes people will revenge cheating with cheating, but the other one cannot take it when the other one is doing it, but they were expecting the other one to take it. So it does not matter what unless the other person has also aimed somebody in a relationship, there's never really a good enough reason why a person will aim another person. And the sad thing about this story is that we're never going to hear Nontobeko's side of the story, because a lot of the things that happen in relationships, women don't talk about. They don't talk about them to their friends, because they don't want their guy to look bad. They don't talk about it to their families. They don't talk about it at all. And then he gets the opportunity to take her life and come back and tell us a story that he wanted us to believe, and now we are supposed to feel like it was justified that he took his life, okay? When it comes to relationship, you guys, nobody is perfect in a relationship. I don't know Nontobeko, I don't know Sbusiso, but I do know that Sbusiso was not perfect in a relationship, but I also do know that Nontobeko was not perfect in a relationship, because nobody is perfect in life in general. However, there's never ever a reason for you to take somebody's life just because things are not going your way in a relationship, okay? There are elements to this story that, of course, if you follow it and you are somebody that wants to watch other people's lives and learn from them so that you don't end up in the same situations, there are certain elements in this story that you can pay attention to, and maybe it can help you in your relationship to see it's okay, this is it, this is time to move on. The relationship was clearly toxic, you guys, and I'm saying that clearly from what this guy is saying and his family is saying, because from the clips that I've seen, I haven't heard the girl's family talk about this relationship being toxic. I haven't heard the girl's family talking about this child not being his that he's talking about. I haven't heard her family talking about the breaking up and the coming back together. But he talked about it. He talked about the breaking up, the coming back together, her being unfaithful and having a child. We can't say out of wedlock, but I guess it was out of wedlock because his family is saying that they regarded her as the wife, which is actually an interesting part that I also do want to talk about. So, you guys, of course, the relationship was toxic, but I feel like all of us are guilty at some point of staying in a relationship longer than we should have stayed. I've made jokes and said, I feel like in schools we need to have a subject on relationships. And normally I'm saying that doing a gossip story, just joking around. But honestly, you guys, nobody is taught anything about relationships. You see people in relationships, and then you get into a relationship yourself, and then you learn as you go, okay? Which is unfair, really, because relationships are like a very big part of our lives, but for some reason, nobody knows how it's supposed to go. Even if I sit here and I tell you this and this and this and this is a red flag in the relationship, nobody ever taught me that. I had to get in relationships and see other people in relationships and see partners do certain things and then be like, and then things end a certain way, and I'm like, oh, that was a red flag. That's how we learn how we are supposed to keep ourselves safe when it comes to relationships. But to be honest, nobody teaches us how to be in relationships, okay? How to know this is a healthy relationship, how to know this is a toxic relationship. People need to walk away. People need to be taught that it's okay to walk away. No matter how painful it is, you need to be, you need to walk away. Sometimes you are treated unfairly. Yes, and we will admit you were treated very, very unfair, but that still doesn't mean that you need to take somebody's life, you guys. And of course, there was unfaithfulness in this relationship because he talks about how she had a child by somebody else, but he decided to forgive her and raise the child, okay? But he makes no mention of himself being unfaithful in any way, okay? But think about it, you guys. He says that Nontobeko had sent a video of himself with her to the girlfriend that he had to show the girlfriend that they were together. Okay, now he is saying that he had already moved on from Nontobeko, but for some reason Nontobeko was able to find evidence that they were still together. Okay, so Nontobeko is not here to tell her side of the story, but we do have to put it together for her so that in a conversation she is represented as well. So we don't know if he cheated on Nontobeko, but we have heard that he cheated on the other girlfriend that he had moved on with. And if he cheated on that girlfriend, is it not obvious that he might have cheated on her as well? So sometimes people stay too long in relationships and the other partner is cheating and you stay and they still, what I'm gonna do is just cheat on him back, okay? And these men sometimes cannot take the very thing that they do to us. Once you do it, you are the most horrible person on earth. Now you need to leave the earth, because once you do what they do, they become God on this world and they make a decision for you that it is time to leave the world. Sbusiso is not, yes, he's not innocent because he did take somebody's life, but even if we remove that part, I can tell you for sure that Sbusiso was not innocent in this part of the story. So when you get to a point in a relationship where you are now revenging what's happening in a relationship, and it's almost like you're on opposite sides when you are supposed to be partners to each other and supporting each other and having each other's back, it clearly is time to move on with your life. I do feel like there was an element of that. And then there was the money situation, you guys. Of course, Sbusiso doesn't look like he was a guy that was short of money. There's a video here where he's walking into a house that I think might be his house. He was very proud of the house, very proud of his polo. Is it a polo, a golf? And then you see this beautiful house that he has built. That is, if it's his house. Corner lab, it looks like it's in a township or whatever. So it looks like, okay, he was making money. And they're also saying that he is a teacher, or he was a teacher, okay? So now there is something that he mentions in the video where he says that the girl was about to receive money from Raf, okay? Now, here is the thing. It's very easy for a guy to behave a certain way when they are the ones that are making money in a relationship, or the one that financially support a relationship. And sometimes even women stay in relationships sometimes because of that financial support. And once they feel like they are free, they can support themselves, there is no reason to stay in a relationship. If there is no respect in a relationship, a person is not faithful. We don't know if that's what happened, but I feel like because of that story that I mentioned earlier on, I can assume that. And we should be able to assume that because he gave us no choice in terms of hearing her side of the story. So when somebody has money in a relationship, it kind of gives them power to abuse that position in a relationship. Now, when a woman now has money, if she did receive the rough money or was about to receive rough money, she might have felt like, I don't need to stay in this relationship anymore, and so I'm going to move on. So when you have been the one that uses money to sort of get control in the relationship, and now a woman is moving on, you might feel some type of a way, because now how are you going to control certain things in this relationship, because she doesn't need you anymore. Now usethola uraf iwake wasiyala no raf imali yamahhala kodwa ke phela akuyona yamahhala, but it really is, because sometimes you'll be looking at people and be like, where are you damaged? Okay, but that kind of a situation. Okay, so now you guys, the thing that for me I feel like played a big part in this relationship is that rough money. I don't care if Sbusiso is not saying it in that video, but I do feel like they had done horrible things to each other. They had broken up and come back together, broken up and come back together. The reason that this was different is because Nontobeko was about to receive rough money. And maybe he felt like when Nontobeko gets the money, she's not going to have a reason to come back to the relationship because she doesn't require that financial support anymore. I wish that he had been honest in that video to say that how dare you go and spend this money alone when we, applied for it together. We should be able to spend it together. So I feel like, you guys, the anger was more about the fact that because you forgave her having a child that was not yours, you forgave her being unfaithful, even you were hoping to move on together. But for some reason this time he couldn't take the thought of them breaking up, because the difference now was the fact that Nontobeko was about to get the rough money, and of course she wasn't going to get back with him, maybe because she wasn't really going to need him financially. I feel like, you guys, he wasn't honest in really saying that is what was making him mad. Now, when the family is commenting on this story, you guys, they do say that they did love Nontobeko very much because Ube Umakoti with family. Let me tell you something. These two families are about to fight over that rough money, because while the girl's family is mourning the passing of their daughter and still trying to understand what really happened, the guy's family is making sure that we understand that Nontobeko was, Sbusiso's wife already. So ask me, but these people are not celebrities, but please, ningi buze, ningi pale ulim. These families are about to fight over that rough money, if there was rough money. More on the rough money, you guys, they do say that actually it's kind of strange the way that they ended up even applying to get the rough money, because actually Sbusiso was the one that ran over Unontobeko with a car, okay? Now, he doesn't mention all of that in the video. If you can run your girlfriend over with the car, what else have you done to her? Is she not justified in wanting to walk out of the relationship at some point permanently, okay? Because there is a story where people are explaining that he actually was the one that ran her over with the car, and they were applying for RAF. He says that he helped her to apply for RAF, but that's because he was part of the accident, because he was the one that was driving the car. Now, I don't have details as to how a couple, like a guy in a relationship, ends up running a woman over with a car in a relationship. Where do we get there? But first thought is they were fighting and he did that. And if he can do that, what else had he done in a relationship? Sbusiso is not perfect. The unfortunate thing about this story is that we're never really going to hear Nontobeko's story, because Nontobeko did not know. Unlike Sbusiso, Nontobeko did not know that that was her last day. Sbusiso got a chance to talk to his family. Sbusiso got a chance to give people his car, give his people his assets, and basically he doesn't even need a will because he was preparing for his passing. Nontobeko didn't have that chance, and Nontobeko did not get a chance to tell us exactly what was happening in that relationship. And it is fair for us to assume that that woman was done with that relationship. She might not have been perfect in that relationship, but there were definitely things that were done to her in that relationship to feel that it was fair for her, when she was about to receive the rough money, to walk away from this relationship. My wish in this story is that we really did have a chance to hear Nontobeko's side. I wish that just like Sbusiso gave himself a chance to tell us what had happened, that he also gave Nontobeko the same chance to tell us what happened in the relationship. I also do feel like he wasn't honest, you guys. He wasn't honest in that video. It's almost like we have a video, but really we don't have. The best thing we get in that video is him admitting that he did it. But the reasons, I feel like he just didn't tell us all that happened, okay? Now, you young person trying to get into a relationship out there, listen, you guys, there are better things to do besides getting into the relationship. And one of those things is just go and get yourself some money, okay? Go work, okay? When they're trying to ask for a date, honey, be busy, okay? be busy with your projects or something. Start a bit. If you feel like you have free time, start a business or something, okay? Because some of these relationships out here are not safe at all. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section. May Nontobeko's soul rest in peace. Nginithanda kakhulu.
Wangigaba ngamgaba wavuma ngahamba ngamshiya ngavuma kodwa usesebonile senginomuntu wami sengihappy ngiyamyeka naye unomuntu wakhe obuyela kumina wathi kumina asibuyelane uzomyeka asikane into ayenzile uthatha ifoni yami wasapha umuntu wami wamkhombisa ivideo ukuthi unami umuntu wamangala ngenxa yakhe mase fasibuyelane siqhubeke nempilo wangapha naye kasala kanjalo lo muntu lo kimondle engena nix engena lutho noma umuntu osifazana lapha yekanixhaphaza amadoda yabo yekani nanku